welcome back to Fat Kid Garage. In today's episode, we're going to go ahead and tackle that fuel pump and figure out what's wrong with the fuel gauge in this car. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, get the tank out. You guys have already seen me do that plenty of times, so there's no point videoing it, but we'll start back when I got the tank out and on the ground. Okay, so I got the tank back out of the Mustang so we can take a look at the pump and the sending unit for the gas gauge. So we'll start off by popping electronics off. And we will test all this before we put it back in the vehicle, just to make sure it does work this time. Now, this did kind of suck because it was half full of fuel, so when I originally dropped this tank, it was pretty much bone dry. So it moves freely, but I will test it. I can plug it back into the harness and actually test it to see if it works. And if it doesn't, I'll have to order a new one, or at least check the ohm on this one to see why it wasn't working. But it does move freely. All right, so if you guys have never tested your fuel sending unit, this is pretty much how you do it. You get a meter that measures ohms. As you can see here, it's reading nothing right now, but get it to read ohms, it's at 14.7, and as I raise this, you can see it goes all the way to 155-ish. Let it drop back down, goes back down to 14. So we know that the sending unit is good. The other thing that could be wrong with it is what's called an anti-slosh module. I know some of you guys are like, an anti-what? But this is the anti-slosh module. It sits behind the gauges on the Fox Body Mustang. This one is actually out of a 94 parts car that I have sitting out back. So I'm going to pop this one in there, and then we're going to do a few tests to see if this actually is the problem. So we're going to plug this in, or back in, and leave it somewhat on the full side. And then go in here to our gauges and pop the gauges out. You have two clips on each side, one top, one bottom. Take that out, and you have one on the bottom over here. Then you have the speedo cable, but I already had the speedo cable off. So back here on these gauges, this is the anti-slosh module here. And you see, this is the speedo, or sorry, this is the fuel gauge here, and it wires up to this anti-slosh. And 90 to 95 all use the same one. So you can see they're pretty much the same unit. We'll pop this one back in here, plug the gauges in. And what the anti-slosh module does is it keeps the gauge from bouncing around as you're going around doing some hard cornering or whatever. It basically is a delay device, so it doesn't move the gauge erratically. So what we'll do is I'll take the camera, I'll have Amber go back to the gauge, or back to the sending unit, turn the key on, and now we're reading about 3/4 of a tank, and then she'll go up to full. And it should slowly move. As you can see, it's slowly moving up. And that's just made as a delay. Now go all the way empty, and you'll be able to watch it fall. It falls really slow, but it will fall. And the other thing you do is just shut the key off, and basically it kills power to that anti-slosh. Now you can see it starting to fall here. Or you can just kill power to the module. Basically just shut the key off, turn it back on, and it'll go all the way to full. Or sorry, all the way to empty. Do the same thing on full. We'll shut it off. Go ahead and go all the way full. Turn the key on. And now it reads all the way full. So the whole time I thought it was a sending unit. It was actually that anti-slosh module. So we'll go ahead and get everything buttoned back up. I'm going to put the new pump back in. And we'll probably end up taking this thing home tonight now that I have a gas gauge that works. And I'll have a fuel pump that works. So we'll be back in a sec. So that should just about do it for the fuel pump and the fuel gauge. I'm going to go ahead and take this thing off the lift, make sure everything runs, and I'll be back in just a sec. This episode of Fat Kid Garage.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.